What up is Marcus. Now comment below what you are planning on putting in your fab budget for some of these players. We're going to go in positions. We're going to go quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends. So let's start with Jameis Winston. He is going on to a bye week here, but he had 279 and 4 last week. Jameis Winston, you're going to get a guy who is okay at fantasy. He's going to score some points, and he's going to make some mistakes. So if you can ride the highs with the lows, which means the incompletions and stuff like that, he's also getting Michael Thomas back, probably after the bye week. That's the rumor at least. And so if he's going to get Michael Thomas back, he's going to get a little bit of a jump. What am I bidding on Jameis Winston? Literally nothing, because I think you could get him for free since the bye week is coming up this week in week 6. The next quarterback is Matt Ryan. I think that when you had 342 and 2 touchdowns, without Ridley, without Russell Gage, I think that he's going to start getting into the groove of it. He's in a bye on week 6 as well. So again, $0. These are $0 basically waiver claims, these couple quarterbacks. And the last one is Gino Smith, just because he is a mobile quarterback and Russell Wilson is going to be gone for a while. So Gino Smith is the least of the 3. I mean, there's Taylor Heineke's and stuff like that as well. But Gino Smith at this point is just a hold kind of flyer. He's got DK Metcalf. He's got Tyler Lockett. He's got potentially one of the top 5 duos, especially in fantasy production-wise. So Geno Smith is a deep flyer. Not in a redraft 12-team league, more of a super flex type of league, or a league that really you need, a quarterback like 20. Geno Smith is kind of that deep play. Now let's go to running backs. These are almost the most important, just because running backs are they're so injury prone. They're just so fluctuant. Daryl Williams, we're going to start off right off the bat. He's my number actually 2 pickup. But Daryl Williams with the CEH MCL sprain, it's Jerick McKinnon, Daryl Williams. Which one do you think you're going to get? And Daryl Williams, I'm probably going to just spend $15-ish in fab. I do think that he'll be a starter and he'll fall into the end zone. But you're looking at it probably a limited upside compared to the number 1, which we'll get to Devante Booker here. Daryl Williams has a limited upside, and so you're looking at a replacement guy that you're going to get maybe 60 yards. You're going to get CEH production, basically, and CEH production has been pretty poor. A running back 25-ish, that's probably what you're going to get, so that's what $15 for Daryl Williams. Bears running back Khalil Herbert actually had 52% of the snaps compared to Damian Williams 50. Yes, that is over 100%. That means they were on the field for a snap or 2. So Khalil Herbert, though, I think, in my opinion, he rushed for 75 yards in the game. He also had the 1 touch inside the 10 line there. Williams did have 3. So if you look at that, you look at, okay, maybe Damian Williams will get more of the goal line stuff. But David Montgomery's out for over a month. Khalil Herbert is a really good chance at being a kind of a handcuff slash. He might turn into being the guy if they believe that if Damian Williams, he probably has a short leash. So if Damian Williams either fumbles, gets hurt, which Damian Williams has already been injury prone this year, Khalil Herbert, I am just going to throw single-digit dollars at him. I'm probably throwing $5-6 at Khalil Herbert at this point. The next running back, and he's probably taken in many of the Aaron Jones owners, but it is A.J. Dillon. And A.J. Dillon, he scored 17.9 fantasy points this last week. It's one of those things that his usage makes him intriguing, just because he's had quite a bit. 28 touches the last 2 weeks. So you're looking at a guy, A.J. Dillon, who, again, Aaron Jones. If Aaron Jones gets hurt at all, you are looking at A.J. Dillon being a top 10 running back. Like, that is what A.J. Dillon can do and will do probably if Aaron Jones gets hurt. So this is the time to start looking at some of these backups. Some of these running backs have been getting hurt. A.J. Dillon needs to be rostered in almost every redraft league. Now let's get to the number 1 running back. It is Devante Booker, and I am putting probably $30-ish onto this player, 30 to 40. If you are in desperate need, you might even need more than that, but he played 89% of the snaps after Saquon got hurt. It's one of those things, Saquon, he's doubtful right now, but I could see Saquon out for a month. And so Saquon, even if he's healthy, we've seen him get hurt over the last couple of years. He cannot stay on the field. Davonte Brooker, $30 to $40 at this point. I think he's a wonderful 2 to 4 week, we'll just say starter. 2 being on the low end, I think, and 4 weeks being on the max end. I can't imagine. I've done so much research into and study in school on sports injuries and stuff. I went to school for 8 years, so I've had enough stuff. But so that ankle sprain looked like a 2 to 4 week minimum injury. I would lean more towards 4 weeks, but Saquon has been known to heal quicker, just because of his athleticism and stuff like that. Not Adrian Peterson quick, but just know Devante Booker 2 to 4 weeks. Other running backs to note: Damian Harris left with a chest injury, so Ramondre Stevenson would be the guy. He played 34% of the snaps, had 11 carries. Damian Harris did leave, so if Damian Harris is gone, look into 2 different running backs: Ramondre Stevenson and Brandon Bolden, the vet that is more of the pass catcher. So just, again, 2 deeper flyers that should be probably rostered. I'm going to go with 2 other running backs that I think that absolutely will be higher up into the waiver claims. It's going to be Alex Collins. Alex Collins, of course, played 72% of the snaps. He was a little bit of a disappointment this last week, but if Chris Carson misses another week, then Alex Collins is going to be a start. He's going to be a flex-worthy type of player. The next guy, and this is just purely because Daryl Henderson cannot stay healthy, it seems like. And what worries me is I traded for actually Daryl Henderson because I feel like when he's on the field, he's a really good option. You're talking about 80 yards and a touchdown. Seems like pretty much every week that's what he gets. But Sony Michelle carried the ball 11 times for 37 yards and a touchdown last week. And he is absolutely necessary. Like, I traded for Daryl Henderson, and now I am attacking and trying to get Sony Michelle because Sony Michelle, I think, is a perfect handcuff. Like, he's not going to be probably super valuable when Henderson's healthy, but we haven't seen Henderson be truly healthy. So, Sony Michelle is a pickup, a deeper pickup. Again, he's rostered in both of my leagues, in my 12-team leagues. So he's probably rostered, but again, he would be somebody, if you are a Henderson owner, you need to trade for Sony Michelle. You cannot get stuck into these situations like CEH. If you had CEH and did not have Daryl Henderson or Daryl Williams, now you're stuck without a running back. And the Rams offense is a much more valuable situation than even the Chiefs at this point, because the Chiefs offense, they just don't want to utilize the running back, which makes no sense. But that's just what's going on. All right, wide receivers. If Rondelle Moore hasn't been taken, which now he's almost been dropped in some of these leagues, Rondelle Moore he played 48% of the snaps. He had 6 targets, 5 for 59. He is one of these wide receivers that you're just going to have a little bit of an up and down season for. I still think that Rondelle Moore should be picked up in all leagues. Next, I almost combined his name and team. Lions wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's a rookie, but they seem like they're going away from TJ Hawkinson, which I have no idea why. Please come back to TJ Hawkinson. They utilized both running backs, Swift and Jamal Williams. The wide receiver they were utilizing was Quintus Cephas, but he's out with a collarbone issue. And it could be, a collarbone shoulder issue. And they said right now he's likely to miss the remainder of the season. So Amon-Ra St. Brown would be the pickup. Again, a guy that might get targets. He caught 7 of them for 65 last week. Might be a good, for me, I'm going to throw a couple bucks on Amon-Ra St. Brown. See if I can pick him up. Another guy, the most boring pickup is Tim Patrick. I don't know why he's just his name or whatever it might be. But Jerry Jeudy continues to be out and will be out probably for a little more, at least a little while longer. But he caught 7 targets for 89 yards. Caught 7 of his 9 targets for 89 yards. It's Tim Patrick. He's going to get you 13 to 15 points. And if you need a wide receiver 3-ish, Tim Patrick's going to be there. He's the more consistent to the Cortland Sutton, who's going to get you 3 for 37 or 8 for 120 in touchdown. It seems like every week that I start Cortland Sutton, he does bad, and then I bench him, and he does well. So I'm in the Cortland Sutton frustration zone, but that's just what I believe. And then we got 2 more, Cadarius Tony. Cadarius Tony is a wide receiver that had 189 yards, could have had 200, but he threw a punch. Know that he might get suspended. We talked about this. This is my number one wide receiver pickup because they don't have anybody else. They don't have Barkley. They don't have Galladay. They don't have Shepard's been barely on the field, and Slayton's been barely on the field. Tony might be the number one option. In fact, when they went down to it, they said, I don't trust Glennon to throw it to Tony. We're just going to line up Tony at quarterback. So they really like Tony, and he is a guy that I could see being a little bit of a safer floor because he's going to get a lot of targets. Another wide receiver, and so Tony, I'm probably spending $30. I'm spending a lot of money on Tony. That's a lot for a wide receiver. But at this point, I think he is somebody that could be, he was a first-round grade. The biggest knock on Tony was his kind of inconsistency. And for me, even in Dynasty, I liked Tony more than where he was actually falling to. At first, I was kind of a Tony hater. And then his ADP just kind of kept going down and down and down. And then all of a sudden I was like, whoa, I'm a Cadarius lover apparently. And the reason for it was draft capital, opportunity. I thought the opportunity would still be kind of there. And he's kind of a gadgety wide receiver, a quick wide receiver. He's Rondelle Moore, but on the Giants. and Arizona has a much more competition. If you look at Rondelle Moore and Cadarius Tony, they have kind of a similar role in the NFL level. And so when you have Cadarius Tony, no one else is there versus Rondelle Moore, who has a better offense, a lot better offense, but they have A.J. Green, and they got Chase Edmonds and James Conner, and they got, of course, Nuke, DeAndre Hopkins, and Christian Kirk, and whoever else they want to throw in there. They have a lot more mouths to feed. Yes, they're going to have a bigger pie, a bigger pizza to feed them, but I would, at this point, would rather have Cadarius Tony. Another last wide receiver we're going to talk about is Marquez Callaway, just because Michael Thomas is back, or should be back after the bye week. Callaway had 4 catches for 85 yards and 2 touchdowns on 8 targets. Could be, wide receivers will sometimes do better on being kind of the beta on an offense. And I think Marquez Callaway, you can kind of see that he is not the alpha. You're going to have Michael Thomas, you're going to have Kamara, but I think Callaway could fit into a nice deep role, a deep wide receiver role. Davonte Harris is kind of that deep guy as well, so he's going to have to fight with Davonte Harris. But I think Marquez Callaway could be a second half player that could have this kind of up and down season where you're going to have these big games, these 5 for 85 and a touchdown or 2 touchdowns, and you might have a game of 4 for 30 or 2 for 30. Like, you're going to have kind of these, like a Tyler Lockett type maybe season. Not as good as Tyler Lockett, but I have that. All right, tight ends, Hunter Henry, 6 catches, 75 yards, and a touchdown. Enough said. Hunter Henry should be rostered in most leagues and probably is rostered in a majority of leagues. And so, just if he's there, he's the number one waiver pickup. Another guy, Evan Ingram. Again, the Giants have very little mouths right now that they can feed, but he had caught all 4 of his targets for 55 yards against the Cowboys. And so, again, another option to look at. 2 more that we're going to kind of go through. David Njoku, just for the fact that they don't seem to like OBJ. I don't know what happened. They don't like OBJ. Jarvis Landry's still out. They got to throw it to somebody. And I guess Njoku might be the guy. Njoku could also be traded. He really could be traded. He probably could be traded to Arizona by tomorrow. Like, it's one of those things. Njoku, Hooper wasn't targeted, so he's worth a kind of flyer. But the player that I would rather have is actually Dan Arnold for the Jaguars. He had a team-high 64 yards. They apparently don't like Marvin Jones or Laviska Shenault anymore. They like these random players. He led with 74% of the snaps. He led all tight ends on that team. 74% of the snaps for a guy who just got traded there. I think Dan Arnold would be he'd be even above Evan Ingram for me. It would go Hunter Henry. It would go Dan Arnold. Then it would go Evan Ingram. And then David Njoku. So that would, and these tight ends, you're not bidding much. You're bidding a couple bucks. For Dan Arnold, you're bidding $1, $2, probably $2, $2, $3. Unless you really need a guy, let's say you only drafted Kyle Pitts, you need a fill-in flyer, throw in $5, $7 or something like that. And if you don't get Dan Arnold, you go get Njoku off the waiver wire. You go get somebody off the waiver wire, like Donald Parham, or heck, Hayden Hurst is on a bye, so you can't get Hayden Hurst. But get like a Donald Parham for. I mean, he did okay. I mean, you can find somebody to fill in for a week. If you're looking for a longer term season, then that's when you get into the $5, $6, $7. All right. So this is Marcus Dynasty Football Dads. All right, that's all the waiver pickups. Let me know what your fab budget would be for some of these players, and we'll see you tomorrow when we start going reviewing through week 6 already. All right, peace out. Now turn